Fine. Can people see and hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm not a trained monkey, you know.
I'm not very well trained. Did not perform on command.
No, you'll find that with me.
Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, or good night, depending on where you are now and or where you are or when you're listening to / watching this. I could possibly have just gone with hello. So welcome to another Say Hi Paul Ramble. I am here with my frog in throat. I'm here with my superstar Crimson, who's the tiniest bit of shoulder you can see, tiniest bit of shoulder. And we are set for another ramble.
Woohoo!
And we were actually like 2 minutes early today, which I think is a first ever. So I almost don't know. I almost feel like I shouldn't be talking yet. I have this thing at work where you leave it till 2 minutes past the start of the meeting before you really start the meeting, just to give people time to dial in. It feels weirdly like that. It's like I should be allowing more time. But yes. So the usual format this week. Oh my god! Right, hang on. Are we doing the thing again this week? Do you think?
Oh yes. We
Okay.
don't just get in a habit, but yeah, we'll do it.
Hello.
Oh, from Canada, that deserves 2 lobsters.
Adrian's...
Canada.
Hello from Canada. Might I trouble you for a birthday shout out? I turned 34 today. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Thanks for all you do. Well, happy birthday, Adrian from Canada.
We should sing.
I can't.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Adrian from Canada. Birthday to you. 34. Oh, I remember being 34 vaguely.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
When these days
being arrested.
These days I'd kill to be 34 again.
34.
34. Happy birthday. And oh gosh, it doesn't rain, but it pours. And we have a super chat from Mr. Mick the Machine. Who can't think what to say, but thinks it's funny.
Oh.
Hey, Mick. And we haven't got an... Hang on, this is the closest we can get to an orange lobster.
We did have to sing. You're very important to us.
So, don't technically have an orange lobster, but Adrian Smart super chatted, oh, guys, you didn't have to sing. Oh, jeez.
We did have to sing.
Oh. So there we go. Closest we can get to an orange lobster is a red and a yellow one.
We had to sing, even if you didn't want us to. We had to sing. I would have made cake.
The royal we had to sing. I think you did the singing for both of us.
I love it. I love it.
Listening to sing is not pleasant. Sounds bad. God knows what it sounds like to everyone else. No.
I can tell you.
No, I'd really rather you didn't. I would rather you didn't.
Sounds like.
I would rather you didn't.
Some kind of wildebeest being strangled by something or in a lot of pain. Just saying. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. Okay. Carry on now. It does really.
Words can hurt too. So, ramble time. Well, it's ramble and wildly speculate this week. So, usual format. We'll chat a bit about what we've been doing this last week and hobby wise, and then go on to the go on to the ramble subject for the week. Then we'll do Q's and A's. Now, we've had a lot of questions in Discord over the course of the last week. I don't think it's very likely we'll get through them all, so we're going to work through them in order. If we don't get to yours tonight, apologies, but we will be here for a very, very long time to try and do them all today.
You will be sick of us.
Sick, I tell you.
Sick of us.
Sick. Quick, go on mute. That's better. Right, phone silent now. Good, yes.
So, what did you do this week? Say hi, Paul.
You see, she remembers the running order. That's what I pay you for. Excellent.
Yeah.
So, hobby.
Make me own dinner tonight.
Hobby, what? You offered. You totally offered.
Go on, it's fine. I know.
What do you mean it's fine? You offered.
All right.
So brains crashed.
What did you do this week, Paul?
Need to open a can of Coke. Still no sponsorship deal. Yes. So this week, I actually had a fairly focused and motivated painting day on Saturday. Managed to conquer the mental health issues on Saturday morning, and when I woke up early, actually before, well, I had accidentally left the alarm on, although I woke up before the alarm. Then, as I was feeling annoyed that I'd left the alarm on, that I'd woken up early, the alarm went off, and I'm like, so I'd have woken up early anyway. But either way, so I managed to claw myself out of bed before like 3 hours had gone past and head straight into the painting room. Well, straight in. Obviously, I went and fed Lemmy and did that stuff.
Ate a guinea pig.
Hmm?
You ate a guinea pig.
What's a guinea pig called? Hotchy Witchy, I think that's called.
All right.
Roast guinea pig. Yeah.
Don't tell people you ate a guinea pig.
No, not a whole one. And yeah, I managed to be in the hobby room for most of the day. I haven't. So, for those of you who might be expecting there to be a hobby vlog planned in the next couple of weeks, I haven't done a January hobby vlog because I haven't really done any hobbying until this Saturday just gone. And we've got, that's not a thing. Oh, that's a gifted membership from Big Bad Piece of Gaming.
Oh wow!
Thank you, Big Bad Piece of Gaming.
Thank you.
I know it's not green, but the sequin lobster is the gifting lobster. Disco lobster. So yeah, I got straight into the hobby room, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this because I had a stack of 40 Gloomspike grots to do that. I'm going to do this. And then the first thing I did was think, I should probably paint the sand on the bases of these other ones I've got sat over here. I'm like, the other half of my brain's going, but that's not the plan for today. Don't do that. I'm like, paint it. Then I was like, and I'll start, oh no, there's these other ones over here that need sand glue into the bases. Don't do that. Oh, sand glue. Then I couldn't get the sand in the base, in the tub, the model in the tub, because it's got big wings. And I'm like, okay, I need to fill the tub up with more sand. Went and looked for more sand, poured more sand in, realised that sand hadn't been through the sieve and had lots of little rocks in it. Went and found the sieve, poured the sand through the sieve. Thought it still doesn't work to fit in this thing, so maybe I need a wider tub. And then I thought, I can see today going horribly Pete Tong. And eventually put the sand on the things, put them there to dry. I'm like, right, I should probably paint the grots. So I cranked up the old television. I've not a bit of a break from audio books. I
And Bush.
binge what
And Bush.
binge watching Archer at the moment. I'm actually on my second run through. It's working for me, so I'm not quitting it. So and actually, because the TV is actually connected to an old PS3, which I haven't had turned on for a very long time. I had to do a lot of updates to it, and it made me think, I wonder if I've actually stopped supporting them with the thingy with the Netflix app. And I'm like, oh no, but it eventually worked. So I got that worked. Then I stocked up my mini fridge, and I'm like, right, grots. And that lot only cost me about 90 minutes getting all that through. And I'm like, come on, you can still do this. You can still do this. And then I managed to sit for about 10 hours and paint 40 Gloomspite Gits, which I was massively impressed with myself with. So very, very pleased with that. Yeah, so I got, oh, Blue Lobster. Where's the little lobster? I think it's fallen up. Here it is. We have a super chat from Big Bad Peter Gaming, but it's a super chat for you.
It's a super chat for me.
So I'll just hold the lobster.
What Pokemon would you like to collect? Oh gosh, right. I do know this one. I know this one, but I'm terrible with names. I'm absolutely rubbish. But it's the one with the little tree people. It's not wood elves. It's the.
That's not a 40k army.
Oh.
That's a major SIgmar army.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Oh, I don't know this one then.
Did you like the pink and black Space Marines?
I did like the Space Marines, but I think I do like. What are the female armies that I was looking at before? Because weren't Slanesh 40k as well?
Slanesh is also 40k.
I did originally pick Slanesh as being my 40k army back in the day, and that was the only one that I really, really wanted to do at that moment in time. I loved it. So I think that's still it.
And
Slanesh is still it. And that's the one that I use for iOS, because luckily you can use it in both. So that is what I am all for. I can't say what I was going to say then, because it began with a B and I can't say that. But tough ladies with very little on. That's what I saw them as, and I thought that they were very cool. And
that's why you like the Daughters of Cain as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the Daughters of Cain as well. But yeah, it was definitely Slanesh. I thought they were really good. The way that they kind of lure you in and then stab you to death.
Because you also got, from some of those early 40k models, you've got some Noise Marines, some of the pink.
I did get that. Yeah, I did.
So,
I did
Emperor's
back
Children,
in the day. Yeah, I did. But it's kind of always been the Slanesh ladies for me. Yeah. Thank you for super chat. I'm impressed.
She's great. Yeah.
I am, and I've got a little bit red as well. Thank you.
Just.
Aww.
So where was I up to? Oh yes, so I painted the painted those Gloomspite Gits, did a little bit more pottering. Then on Sunday, I will let you explain what we did. Well, no, I'll tell you
Sunday was fantastic.
Tell you what I did yesterday, then you can tell what we did on Sunday. So yesterday, I started assembling some exalted seekers, some Hedonites to Slanesh on big steeds with stabby sticks. Go on, you can tell about Sunday.
I would just type into you the Moog. I was just sending a message, so I'll just tell you now. I just found painting. Can I say nipples?
No.
Nipples and bottoms really, really funny. I went back to sort of like being a child, didn't I? And I was like, oh, look at her bottom. I did make a very good job of the bottom.
I'll let you in on a little secret.
What's that?
We all do that.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
So yeah. But on Sunday, yeah, we went to very short notice, didn't we? We went to Sanctuary Gaming.
Gaming.
Sanctuary Gaming. Yeah, it was really nice actually, and it was the first time I've played my army in the real world. Let's say out there. I've played with Joe and I've played with you, Paul, haven't I? But I've never actually.
They were training games we did on.
Yeah. I've never actually played anywhere sort of tabletop where people are actually walking past and looking at your army, which I found a bit like, oh my goodness. And I have to say that we played Immortan Joe and Wolf Corgi.
We did doubles, didn't we?
We did doubles. There's safety in numbers, you would think. There's safety in numbers.
Socially, we were safe.
My chariot made an appearance, which was amazing. So I managed to get my chariot on the board. I've got some pictures actually, which I'll put on Discord. But yeah, and it all looked magnificent. I have to say, I got absolutely annihilated by Morton Joe to a stage where I went, I can't take it anymore. Stop killing everything.
Your dice rolls were terrible.
So my army looked magnificent. It looked really good.
We also forgot a bunch of rules for your army that would have made quite a bit of difference. And
I don't know, it would have made a massive amount of difference. Joe was on fire, and so was my Wolf Corgi was on form.
But do you know what I did notice?
What was that?
Because on Sunday afterwards, I looked at, because we've got some more in boxes, and we talked afterwards and said, let's get some more units so there's some more choice and some ones that are going to complement each other well, and so on. So I put everything that you've got painted into the app, and they have come down in points a lot. So you know how GW periodically changes how many points things cost to balance out the two armies? Yeah. Well, what was a 1,000-point army this time last year when we made it, only 850 points. So you were actually 850. You were 150 points shy. Yeah. Well,
so yeah. So on one hand, we did have a bit of a laugh about it because it was quite funny with how bad it actually was. Thanks for that, Moog. Vote of confidence, bless him. So yeah, but what he did do is, if anybody tuned in last week, I kind of lost my mojo a little bit, and you would think that I'd have made me totally lose it altogether, but it didn't. It were like, no, I went and bought some Bliss Bob Archers, and next time Joe is having it.
He's having it.
So I went and bought some more things to paint. So I bought some Bliss Bob Archers, and I also bought, and I only bought these because I really, really like them.
Very cool.
The Realmscape objectives, if anyone's seen them. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I just thought that they were really
we're going to build them and paint them.
So yeah, we're going to build them and paint them. That's what we're going to do. But so
if nothing else, they make good scatter terrain, don't they?
Yeah, and it just looks really good. So, but one thing that will complement my army, because it'll just make it even better. And if anybody's interested in seeing what I play, I don't know whether you will be, but I can send you some pictures. I can put them on Discord. See the ladies with the painted bottoms.
I also looked up, the Sival the Magnificent that Joe gave you.
Oh yeah.
He's brick hard.
Yeah.
Next time you play Joe, you want to take him and.
So yeah, Joe gave me when we played a while ago now, when I was brand new, when I hardly had anything, and Joe brought me a little gift. And so, but once I've painted him again, Joe, I am coming for you.
So this is also where
that was Sunday. It was fabulous.
So this is also where this leads nicely. Oh, so how is your hobby mojo now after that?
It's much better actually. It's much better. I could see, we had a chat about it afterwards, didn't we? And I could see where I needed basically more muscle. I just needed a little bit more of oomph. my demonettes did emerge, but there wasn't enough of them. So
No,
they did come onto the board like magic, but there wasn't enough of them.
And a lot of your stuff is basic troops. The Hellstriders, they're basic troops, and there weren't a lot of those either. So they're you need more.
I have to say though, we had a lovely day because we played with Murph was there as well, and Moldis was there as well. There were just a little group of us, and we played on 2 tables in the end. And it was really nice. We went for some food, and it was really nice. And I didn't really mind because I did expect that Joe would be very good. Mike was good as well.
Indeed,
I've got nothing to be ashamed about.
The other thing that we talked about afterwards is because we have I have 2 chaos armies. I have Skaven, which aren't really going to go well with Head Knights of Slanesh, but also my only other chaos army that's painted is Magic King of Nurgle. And
so that's what you played.
That's what I played. And whilst you might think that's a good compliment, one army's fast and fragile, and the other's slow and resilient. And we should have thought, well, I'll sit on our home objective and you go and take the enemy's objective. Just doesn't complement well. No.
No, it didn't.
So if we're playing doubles again, I need to have another chaos army that's going to complement yours better. So I've been looking at what I might do, and I'm thinking maybe Slaves of Darkness. There's a sub faction that you can take. Basically, Varangard and Chaos Knights, because your army's super quick and you've got fast cavalry that sweep around. So I could do. I could do that too. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what Mood's just saying now. Yeah, you need some Slaves. That's right. Okay. So, but it was regardless of that. We just had loads of fun and we laughed a lot, didn't we? Laughed a lot. So it was good. Laughed out how badly.
The thing
then made the chariot went, and I just was suicidal. So the chariot went. I was like, it's only been on about 2 minutes, and it's gone.
Turns out that chariot looks glorious, not very good.
No.
But that's part of the segueing, and
I rolled badly though. We can't blame the chariot.
You rolled very badly, and Joe rolled like Joe.
Yes, Joe was super good, and Mike rolled well on the day as well.
Oh yes, it was good fun all around.
But I think everybody had fun, and Moldis and Murph were 1 table up from us, so we had somebody in the middle, so I couldn't actually see what was going on there. And I think it took us so long. I think they were almost ready to throw us out at Sanctuary because we were just there way after 4 o'clock.
We were, but there were a lot of them. I think there were some people setting up at that time. Maybe. So actually, I don't know. Maybe. I think it's maybe just their official opening hours.
It's really good. And just to shout out to them as well, they were really good. And if you want, there were some people painting, and the painting tables were really accessible. They were really good, and it's free to go out. I mean, I don't know whether it's free everywhere, but it's free to go and paint there. And the tables were really big, and you could really get all your kit out on them. It were really good.
I was speaking to someone a little while ago who was telling me they took their child to go and play a game, and then whilst they played, they just sat quietly in the corner and painted. And the place they went sitting in the corner and painting.
Well, somewhere else that we've been that wanted to not tabletop events, but somewhere we've been in Manchester, I think it was, they charged for painting as well, but which I don't really think it's anyway. They don't charge there, and it was really clean. It was superb, really.
The cafe was nice as well.
Cafe was nice. Yeah, it was all really good.
Yeah. So yeah, it was big thumbs up. Would recommend.
Would recommend, yes.
Yeah. So, segueing neatly into tonight's subject. I mean, we're only 24 minutes in. It turns out there's a lot happened this week. Happened this week.
Yeah, we just talk all the time.
And we've had a lot of lobster action. So,
Oh, yeah.
So.
Need to lay down after this.
So, I've been looking at and this is obviously just going to be, some people will look at this and go, yeah, well, duh. Well, yeah, okay, so it's a duh moment for some people, but it might not be for anyone else. It wasn't for me anyway. So looking at the Battle Tome roadmap that GW released, in the recent thingies, they've said Seraphon is coming in the summer. So it's like, okay, so that's an order Battle Tome in the summer. Now, I am aware of, not counting Seraphon, I'm aware of 3 order Battle Tomes that need a due an update. So there's obviously the Seraphon, the SIgmar, and then there is Caradron Overlords. And I'm just going to cast my eye down the app and just see if I'm forgetting one. I don't think I am. So they've done that one, done that one, done that one, not done that one, done that one, not done that one, done that one. So yeah, so it's just those 3, which means in spring, because they've said that they're going to be. Oh no, they've said 1 order Battle Tome in spring. So that's likely then Caradron Overlords. So SIgmar will come later, we expect. 2 Chaos Battle Tomes, ones that are outstanding. Head of Knights of Slaanesh and Blades of Khorne, which means you're likely to get a new book at some point over the next few months with new rules, up-to-date rules, because the ones in that book are quite difficult to follow, I think, where you have to be either a seeker or a pretender or etc. And 2 Death Battle Tomes, and there are 3 Death armies that haven't had a 3rd edition Battle Tome yet, and that's Soulblight Gravelords, Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and Ghoul Kings isn't the right title. Ghoul Kings? Ghouls. Why can't I remember that right? Come on, app. Flesh Eater Courts, of course it is. So there's not much left after that lot. So assuming none of those are brand new, there aren't any new factions lurking in the wings. So there's not a huge amount left. They've only got 1 pegged for summer, but we're in year 2 of AOS. Not series 3. Come on, 3rd edition, AOS 3rd edition, and normally, as we've seen with 40k, because there's a widely held view that 10th ed is coming this summer, and we're due to get what is likely the last 9th ed codex coming out this weekend, the World Eaters. So GW have got form for running the battle tones right the way up to the release of codices, up to the release of the new book, or having a series like in 8th ed, they had 8th ed 40k, they had the Psychic Awakening, which ran for sort of 6 months before the new thing. I guess they're sort of doing Arcs of Omen now, but that's a relatively small series. So it begs the question: what are GW going to do with Age of Sigmar from that point onwards? Are they going to? Are we effectively looking at with this list? There are 2 known battle terms outstanding after spring. Okay, there's 1 listed for summer. So are there going to be more in the summer? Are those 2 coming in the winter at the latest? Are they what are they going to do after that to bridge the gap to the next edition? Are they going to have the next edition in less than 3 years? Because what they used to do back in the day was it was every 4 years. It was 40k, 2 years later, Fantasy Battle, 4 years later, 2 years later, 40k, etc., opposite each other. Obviously, they've been doing them every 3 years, but now, are they going to cut that short? Are they going to do the release are they going to do the release of a new edition of AOS around Christmas time rather than in the summer? Are they going to run a series of other books, other sort of scenario-y type books? They did the Thondia campaign book, which I absolutely loved. So are they going to do expansions? Are they going to introduce new factions? Is there anything brand new bubbling away, which sort of links into the Age of Sigmar ramble? There's been a bit of discussion on this on the channel's Discord server, because most of the rumors floating around for the upcoming cities of Sigmar relate to humans. Not seen anything related to dwarves or elves. There's supposed to be an alliance of various types of people, because the narrative is that at the end of the Age of Myth, when effectively Chaos beat what's his name? Mind your toes a second. Let's just readjust the chair. Oh, my girth has increased and it's cutting into the side of the desk. Oh dear. Tasty girth. The basic plot was that, from the background of AOS, and I am simplifying this to minute gross oversimplifications, but lots of races, elves, dwarves, and men, and other various things, all living relatively happily in the Age of Myth. Big cities and civilizations built up, and Sigmar created effectively the pantheon of order, where he got a whole load of very different gods together, and they all agreed, yeah, we'll all play nice with each other towards a common goal. Chaos turns up, and effectively the pantheon of order is opposing Chaos. Big war. Gorka Morka decides he's had enough following rules. He's not a rules-following person, and naffs off and does his own thing. And at a crucial point in the war with Chaos, Nagash says, actually, screw you, Sigmar, I'm going home, and goes off to do his own thing and thinks he can defeat the pantheon of Chaos on his own. Sigmar gets sort of overrun. In a hissy fit, he throws away Galmaraz and goes, right, I'm out of here. And the forces of order get overrun, and he comes up with his plan to retreat to a
Sorry, was that noisy?
It was a little noisy.
Sorry.
What did that paper do?
Sorry.
And he retreats to Azir, knowing that he needs to build a new army because there isn't the strength in the Pantheon of Order as it was, which has fallen apart because all sorts of people have disappeared. Like initially, Gorka Morka recognizes strength and goes, yeah, okay, I can follow this guy. He's strong. And then it's like, what do you mean do as you're told? What do you mean? No. Mike, push. You like this vase? Broke your vase. So he backs off and retreats to Azir, and all of effectively what you might call the free people become refugees. So everyone who didn't want to be overwhelmed by the onrushing hordes of Chaos retreat to Azir. So the dwarven holds that become the dispossessed, various elves, the nomads of the elves, a lot of the elves that you might have previously called dark elves, the Order Serpentis, the the Darkling Covens, the Scourge Privateers, they all retreat back to Excelsis and to Excelsis. I've got Excelsis on the brain, to Azir, and Sigmar locks Azir down by totally destroying the totally sealing all the realm gates so chaos can't get in. And then he goes, but everyone who's turned up as a refugee, anyone who's got even the slightest glimmer of taint of chaos amongst them, he brutally murders to reset, to restore factory settings, Control Alt Delete. Then there are a few people who managed to survive during that period. The Sylvaneth, so chaos then rampages throughout the realms. Chaos. The Sylvaneth hide themselves away in like a sub-realm. The Caradron take to the skies, or rather, some of the Duardin who become the Caradron take to the skies. The followers of Grimnir doggedly stick it out in their fortresses and repel many chaos invasions. The Deepkin are still hiding at the bottom of the sea, going. And various other little pockets survive, but when Sigmar then builds up storm hosts and the Age of Chaos ends and the Age of Sigmar begins and the Realm Gate Wars start, because the Realm Gate Wars then is about capturing the Realm Gates and capturing ground on all of the realms. Then between following after that, they build cities, big cities, and they populate them with the descendants of the refugees from Azir. Now, we're talking hundreds of years later here. So the likes of elves and dwarves, some of them are still alive from back then, but a lot of them are new populations. Obviously, all the humans are those descendants. You also then get the people who have been rescued or freed by the storm hosts, by the off the back of the Realm Gate Wars and the other battles that go underneath. The human tribes, the human civilizations who manage somehow to survive in the realm of in the Age of Chaos and remain untainted, and those folks are referred to in the books as the Reclaimed. So they it's all written from a very Azir-centric perspective. They've reinvaded the realms and then reclaimed some of the people, but they're all very realmy. So the ones in Shaiish are incredibly superstitious. They have all sorts of random ways of dealing with the undead, like barbs from special plants on arrows to destroy shades. They have things like if they're being chased by if you're being chased by an ethereal creature and you cross a bridge, if you drop rice behind you, they have to stop and count all the rice. Some of these things work, some of them don't. The ones in Gur, almost sort of feral, wearing skins, bone weapons, and so on, still not corrupt, not chaos, but barbaric. So there's often then conflict within the cities of the come on, brain, you can do it. Sorry, but you can't see Lemmy's right here and grabbing attention from me. So there's always cultural differences between the Reclaimed who are in the city, and they often form free guild regiments, and Azurites who have then gone and settled in that city. And in theory, there are large chunks of people from Azir who went there as refugees who also then go and settle in the... Sorry, Lemmy's claiming the microphone and trying to knock it over. settle in the city. So you've got groups like nomads, who are, for want of a better phrase, they are wood elves who lived in harmony with the Sylvaneth, but when the Jade Kingdom was lost, they retreated to Azir, and the Ever Queen has never forgiven them. So that's why they're part of. So they have gone back to the realms, and they are nomadic. They go between cities and the wilderness, but they come under cities of Sigmar because they're one of these people that has gone back. You get the dwarves known as the Dispossessed. So their holds were entirely sacked, but they end up settling in the various different cities. So you get dwarf smiths, dwarven guilds, dwarven all sorts. And the Dispossessed, very different to the Fire Slayers and the Cardron Overlords. There's often a lot of animosity between them. Then you have other groups like the Order Serpentis. These were a sort of tyrannical group of elves who controlled their territories, their kingdoms with an iron fist, as it were, a typical sort of fascist dictatorship, for what despotism. But they all rode black dragons, and when they fled, they weren't able to take very many black dragons or black dragon eggs with them, so they had to, in Azerheim, try and find other beasts to ride. And that's why they end up riding cold ones, because they discover the cold ones and they ride those. It's only the really exalted amongst them that actually get a black dragon. You get the Darkling Covens, who are basically, again, for want of a better phrase, dark elf sorcerers, and their attendants and their lords and lordlings. You also get the Scourge privateers, who are pirate-esque sea elves. They're the old Black Ark Corsairs from the Dark Elf days, but they appear in. So I'll come back to that in just a second. What else do you get? You get the Iron Weld. So when the Dwarden went back to when they fled to Azir, SIgmar turns around to them and says, you know your Smith god Grundy? Yeah, he's over here. He's working with me on loads of cool stuff. You engineer guys, do you want to come and work with me and with him on cool stuff? And they go, yes, please. And so most of the dwarven engineers disappear, and the Ironweld arsenals are born. All the war machines are created by the Ironweld. So if you actually look, so all the dwarven cogsmiths in the Ironweld, they aren't actually part of the Dispossessed peoples. They've kind of been divorced through periods of time from them, and they are part of the Ironweld. There are humans and dwarves in the Ironweld, and there's no sort of association back with them, as it were. What am I forgetting? I'm just going to have a quick glance at my phone just to see if I have forgotten any major. I can remember how to tap. There are the Phoenix Temples, which are a little bit weird. They are elves who've lost everything, join the Phoenix Temple and get reborn. There's the Collegiate Arcanum, basically the wizards' colleges. They are a separate thing. And of course, the Free Guild. And the Free Guilds are basically the human armies. So you've got this. One of the things that's missing from all this is the generic. It's easy for them to write in general humans into the stories, but they don't tend to write general elves in there or general dwarves. They sort of come in model wise on the table. They come in these subcategories. You don't get that much representation from the sort of generic elf population. They're either sort of like a wood elf or a phoenix elf or a dark elf type sub. There's no sort of generic elves that sit in the middle. So what is interesting, and what I tried to do, is try to get a picture of where because in theory, all of these groups, when they go to resettle in Azir, in theory, you can have any of them in any city. But if you read what's in Excelsis and what's in the Living City and what's in Greywater Fastness, it's like, okay, there are loads of these that don't actually seem to appear anywhere. No one makes reference that I've seen to a Phoenix Temple. I haven't done extensive research, but none of the ones I've looked at have a Phoenix Temple. There are no references to Order Serpentis or the Darkling Covens. There are, to an extent, in Avelgard. Avelgard then ceases to exist when Marathi rises up, and her Free City armies from Karakvar, I think. No, not Karak, that's Dwarven. Hagvar, from Var. After change of management at Avelgard, if you look in the Marathi book, there's a sort of Marathi sort of goes, right, well, I can only really trust and exert influence over the Order Serpentis and the Darklings and the Scourge Privateers. So they're the only ones that are going to be in my cities. And so that sort of looping back, that speculation around what they're going to do with Free Cities, whether some of this leads to other books, it wouldn't surprise me entirely if this next book was effectively a Free Guild book that just focused on humans. Maybe it makes a distinction between Reclaimed and between the Reclaimed and the Azurites, because a lot of those older models are still pretty good. They're not as, the ones they're producing at the moment are, head and shoulders higher, but they still stand up. And it would be a shame for them to just entirely discontinue them. I think it would be a little. I would like to think that. So, at the very start of Age of Sigmar, there were loads and loads and loads and loads of factions in these big battle tomes, covering all sorts of things they have now written out. In the books at the start of Age of Sigmar, there were very little mention of any of these other factions. And a lot of those factions got written out. However, for a number of years now, those factions, some of them anyway, in the lore. And I would like to think, famous last words, that they're not so easy to arbitrarily write out. So I don't know that GW will just get rid of them. That's why I wonder if what they'll actually do is make this first book more focused around Free Guild, and then very brief pause for the rustling. You sorted? Good. And then they will spin other factions off them. So in exactly the same way as with most of Chaos, If you look at Maggotkin, for example, you can take coalition units of Skaven, you can take coalition units of Slaves to Darkness, and coalition units of Beasts of Chaos. It wouldn't surprise me if they did a series of order books based off the series of Sigmar that can be coalitions to each other. So so a book, and I don't know if it would be one book or a number of books. It's only wild speculation, but if the Dispossessed had their own book, then you could take them as coalitions into free guilds and vice versa, and so on. Equally for the some of the shadow armies, the Order Serpentis, the Darklings, etc. That feels like it would be a nice way of doing that, and what they might do is, rather than just killing off everything and shoving them into Legends, I think they'll definitely put some of them into Legends. I can't see the Phoenix Temple going anywhere because they're the last bit of all the old High Elf stuff that they actually managed to keep in there. Everything else has been killed off. I don't imagine that will stay. But some of the others, all the Dark Elfy stuff, I can easily see them being a book based around Avant-Garde 2.0 under Marathi's rule, which has coalition units into the Daughters of Cain. I can easily see that. And there's also then the notion of the utility of the models. So they've been talking quite a while about the old world stuff that's coming up, and depending on exactly what they are going to do with the old world stuff, I would imagine they have to resurrect a number of races. If they're doing old world, they either have to set it way, way, way away from all the old world, or they have to do dark elves, wood elves, dwarves, etc. And are they going to make those kits flippable so they work for both games? Don't know. Oh, right, we have had another super chat from Moog's Little Figures. Did Crimson bring enough sweeties for everyone? Them's the rules. I don't know, are there enough for everyone?
Yeah.
The problem is, if I have one, I can't talk, and it makes a very quiet.
I have to hide them week to week.
You do not have to hide them. They sit there on the windowsill whilst I'm sat here working. Because they're yours, I don't eat them.
Oh, thank you, Softwool. Thank you for that. She says I'm always good.
It's true.
It's true. I do my best. I'm always prepared, Moog. Don't worry.
So I'm very close to wrapping up on that subject. So from a Cities of Sigmar point of view, I speculate that it's going to be, and I wonder if this is part of the gap that we're going to see past all the battle tomes that we know about, whether there are going to be another 1, 2, maybe 3 order-esque battle tomes where some of these other races get fleshed out, they get their own book, and they coalition in with other units. Maybe not. Maybe if they're going for other, I would dearly love to see Chaos Dwarves come in. They are my all-time favorite faction. That would be like 18 birthdays all at once if that happened. But I'd be interested. We haven't had anything, because there was an explosion of factions for Age of Sigmar in the early days. We haven't had any brand new ones for quite a while that I can think of. Who knows? And there endeth the main ramble subject, speculation, I think. So I think do we have any questions from the chat?
Oh, no, not so much this one. People have been talking talking amongst themselves and stuff. But we've got quite a lot on Discord.
Okay, let's do some Discord.
Yeah.
Although we aren't going to get through all of them. There's loads, mostly from Luke.
Okay. Okay, so Mick asks, Is it time for GW to drop the keywords Firstborn and Primaris and treat all Space Marines as one? That's the first part of the question.
Yes.
Second part is, also should Primaris units be able to use Firstborn vehicles such as drop pods, Razorbacks, Land Raiders, etc., as well as always as allowing Firstborn to use Primaris vehicles and regain the transhuman stratagem.
Okay, so there's a lot of specifics in there about particular vehicles and stratagems and so on. Fundamentally, I think the idea of just getting rid of the Primaris delineation between the different units would be a great thing to do. Get rid of the keyword. Have effectively, they are differently structured Marines for different purposes. So you've got, if Marines are all going to be, all bolters or all bolt rifles, that's fine. A tactical squad is a different loadout of Marines. I think that would solve a huge number of problems. I doubt it's going to happen because I don't think it's the way GW want to go with the model range. They won't want to push. They won't want to make some of the older models more attractive because then more established players will roll out the older models to use rather than investing as new ones. So there's an economic side of things there, which is why I don't think they would ever do it. But I think it's the way to do it.
Yeah, Moog's just put a response on there. So if the Primaris keyword goes, then
yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I can't see them ever doing it. It wouldn't be a good business move, and ultimately they are big business.
Okay.
Hit me!
So, I've always wanted to do that for such a long time. So what army is mostly missing from 40k /AOS?
40k.
And that's from Sarcastic Monkey.
Okay, thank you, Sarcastic Monkey. 40k, it is undoubtedly, you could argue this is one army or two, traitors, human traitors, either Chaos cults or traitor guard regiments, one that have devolved to Chaos. They are all over the place in the lore, but not represented at all on the tabletop. And it's not the same just to say, "I'll just play Imperial Guard and call them traitors," because they just do not have that look and feel. AOS, most missing from AOS. It's tempting to say Chaos Dwarves.
And 40k.
I've done the 40k bit.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
I was listening.
You weren't paying attention. No.
I was listening, though.
You're multitasking. From AOS, I think the thing that's most missing from AOS are generic elves. We've got a lot of... Obviously, there's a shed load of humans. There's a lot of specific Dwarden. So you've got the Fire Slayers, you've got the Kharadron Overlords. They're really cool. And they are represented by the Dispossessed, albeit the Dispossessed is a pretty small faction. But none of the elves are just generic elves. In the same way as there are no generic Uruks. They talk about, if an Uruk gets hit in the head too many times, they go off and become a bone splitter. If an Uruk does this, they go off and become an Iron Jaw. But basic tribes of Uruks aren't represented either. And it comes back to the layering and the coalitions as well. There's a lot of scope there for some of those to be layered in. So that's what I think. Okay, tell me the next one, but please don't punch me.
All right, then. So I didn't do it hard, by the way. Just so you all know, I was only kidding. I'm just thinking
I'm sure you could have hit me harder, but it's harder than I thought you were going to have done.
Oh, thank you. So Immortan Joe says, what is stopping or encouraging you to want to play or avoid using big godlike models? Question mark. Celestant,
Yep.
Prime,
Yep.
Marathe,
Yep.
Mortarian, and Gulliman, for example.
It's all about the storytelling with those.
And second bit is,
Oh.
what is it about them that you love or hate? Just so that
Okay.
you know the second bit as well.
Okay. It's all about the storytelling aspect. I love them as models, and I love using them on the tabletop. But, you know, if you're just having a random game of whatever, I don't think, you know, Mortarion turning up or Marathi turning up just doesn't feel right. If you're telling a story, it's like, okay, why are they here? Why is it based around these guys? And also, some of them are so powerful, you expect them to dominate in games because they absolutely jolly well should. But that's
not just should.
Jolly well should.
Yeah.
But you, and it's the same with a lot of the special characters as well. But because they dominate, that's not always fun for the other player. And if the other player then works out, right, well, I'll do this, and then I'll kill them. Well, they shouldn't be that easy to kill. I know I've played games of 40k where Mortarion's just been last cannoned off the table, and I'm like, yeah, that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. He should be just going over there and ripping them apart. You can sort of suspend your disbelief for the sort of normal Marines and Guardsmen and those kind of things. But, you know, Primarchs, it's like, yeah, he should be a lot harder than that. I mean, in the story, what's his name? Angron. So, yeah, not Erebus. What's his dad's name? Lord Aurelium gets hit in the face with a plasma blast cannon twice, and then Angron stands there holding a Titan up so it doesn't stand on him. Yeah, so it's a combination. It's a combination of, should they be there? Use them sparingly. They're narrative tools, but it's really cool when you do. I mean, if I'm trotting out Kragnos in every game, people are going to get bored. I'm going to get bored. It's going to be boring to play against. That said, Kragnos is very much going to feature in the Siege of Excelsis, which is starting in a few weeks. In about a month that should start. After the current 40k campaign finishes in the next episode, the one after that will be the first Siege of Excelsis. If Kragnos turns up in every episode, it would be dull. But you want to see him 3-4 times over the course of maybe 20 games to really, really see him doing his stuff. It's about seasoning, and you don't want to eat steak every day. Maybe you do want to eat steak every day. I'd get bored with. Lemmy gets bored with steak every day, and we all know she's in charge, so that's why. Quick, ask me another question before, so I don't carry on talking.
Okay, so Sailor Star says the question that has never ever been asked before is:
Is this going to be about Horus Heresy?
When are you going to start a Horus Heresy army? And the answer is, the short answer is no. You're not. The long answer is no.
No. No, not likely.
Are you?
Not likely in the short term. Because I have plenty of AOS and 40k armies that I want to paint and play without moving to another system and automatically giving myself 20 armies to paint, to collect and paint.
Look at the face. Someone had to ask it. It's generally me. Oh
wow.
5
again.
Cheston again.
Yes, Tim, man.
Yes, and you. Yeah.
Thank you for the gifted 5 Say Hi Paul memberships. Thank you, man. That is very kind of you. Very kind.
Would you like to tackle Moogs? I can see you've got it. It's a long one. Do you want?
You want me to?
You need to read it out because it's a little bit weird. Well, it's not weird. It's just a bit difficult to say.
It's not weird. It's effing odd. Okay, so let's start from the top. I may or may not give full answers to some of these. I may read some of them out and go,
oh dear,
I'm not. No, just no, Moog, no. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's 14 questions of what I can only describe as Moog's brain vomiting onto the page of Discord.
Moog was obviously bored.
Okay, question 1. If GW pumped out a Great Crusade, Reclamation, Foundation Wars era game with Thunder Warriors, etc., would you be tempted? Hell yes, oh hell yes, oh hell yes, oh hell yes. Because that is not a setting that is all already pre-told. The Horus Heresy has a beginning and an end, and we pretty much know almost everything that happened in the middle. You can make allowances for little bits, but there's only so many times you can say, and this random thing. You've had a complaint.
What?
You've got a complaint.
I'll have a look in a second.
But that's all. You know the beginning, you know the end, but everything. We don't even know the beginning. You know the end, but everything in the middle is up for grabs, and it's and the possibility. I mean, Great Crusade. The number of civilizations.
No, not yet. I'm going back to it, Scott. I'm going to make sure I'm going back to it. Don't worry. I've not skipped it because I know you asked when you first came on. So, but I'm aware of that. I just wondered if you wanted to tackle the Moog stuff.
Okay. Should I carry on with the Moog?
Carry on. Yeah.
Okay. The amount of possibilities for that are massive, so I would totally love that. Would I play a 40k LARP? LARP being live action roleplay for the uninitiated. Unlikely, because from my experience of live roleplay, there's only so much range stuff you can simulate by just pointing at someone and telling them what's just happened to them, which is fine for bits of magic here and there when you have a system that's fundamentally built around hitting each other with a rubber sword. If you have a game system that's most fundamentally about pointing your pretend gun at someone else and saying you're dead, I don't see that working. I also cannot imagine myself how easy it would be to build a suit of power armor. So I don't think 40k is a system that will translate well to LARP. If so, what would you play? Depends on what part of the 40k setting it is entirely. I mean, if it was sort of Inquisitor setting, I don't know. I'm skipping that. Even if not, suppose the answer was yes, what would you play? Well, I can't suppose the answer was yes because the answer wasn't no. It's just I need more data to understand. If you can explain what you think the setting is going to be like and the context for next time, I'll have a think about what I would play in that kind of environment. The Bad Moon, what's that then? Is it really a god or just an angry rock? It don't matter, does it? It's dead wibbly. They used to be snotlings. Where is they now? Day is food in the cupboard. Who's better and badder? Mork or Gork or the Bad Moon? No, it's Gorka Morka and his mate, the Bad Moon. The Bad Moon is like his pet or something. It's like Fido on a chain. We have a member conversation from Yester Jones. Hurrah. Looks like the lion is coming back. Which Primarch would you like to see after that? And why is it Khan so White Scars get some love? Which Primarch would I like to see after the lion? So I think I would like to see another loyalist one because I think it'd be good to get some politics, some infighting going on in the Imperium. Part of me wants it to be the wolf because him having been in the Eye of Terror for a long time, and some question marks about him being, all is he corrupt? Is he not? Is that even possible? The All Father. So part of me says that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of me that says Khan. Unfortunately, Ferrus Manus is supposedly, his head is supposedly still alive somewhere. I've said for quite a while I love the idea of a Primarch dreadnought, so that's tempting. I also quite like the idea that an incarnation of Sanguinius comes back, and there is a lot of speculation as to whether he is pure or whether he has been tainted by the blood god. I like the idea of that. Rogal Dawn would be pretty cool, but there'd be nothing remarkable about him. It'd just be similar to Gilliman, except slightly different special rules and a gun. Yeah, I'm going to say either Ferrus Manus or Lehman Russ, I would say. Ferrus Manus. No. I think Vulcan would be a good one to bring back, because I would love to see all sorts of lizardy, dragony type things. The other thing with Ferrus Manus is if his head isn't alive somewhere, what's his name? Fulgrim kept growing clones of him, so there's possibly an in there. Okay, so back to Moog. Rock Trogoffs is blue. Does that mean there is Lurky and Soggy Swamp Trogoffs is dead hard because they is green? Well, when there is no light, you can't see what colour it is anyway. They is just big and itty, and you has got to stay out of their way because they squish you. Why is the Blood Axes the bestest, toughest, and cunningest clan out there? Pass. Where to find the best tactical rock? Well, it's a rock called the Rock. It's full of tactics and stuff. Go invade the rock. Should I stop now?
Yes.
You should have stopped a long time since. Is this not prime content? No. Is they not entertained? You are not Russell Crowe.
Moving on.
Wow, I really bored at work.
I told you you were bored. Right, okay then. So, Hill 42, there's a couple of questions. So, number one is, what do you think of the new Primaris Marines? And which chapter would you add to them? That's one of his questions.
Okay. Which chapter would I add them to? Oh, thank you, Primaris Marines.
Would you add them to? Yeah.
I do not like them. I think they look silly. A lot of the Primaris stuff I have said I thought looked silly. I think they look silly. I don't know that if I had to pick a chapter to add them to. They're just... The idea of 10 Marines with is just... I don't know.
Okay.
Well, any chapter really. I don't see them being associated with any one chapter. I see them being a tool in the arsenal for fire support Marines to select in exactly the same way as a Devastator squad has got the standard 5 weapons to pick from, and they load up for what they need on a particular time. Then I expect the same is true of the Primaris Marines. They take the plasma cannons, they take the missile launchers, depending on the tactical situation. I mean, in the book, they are called Hell Blasters or Nerf Rockets or whatever they're going to be called. Personally, I think of them as Primaris Devastators with X piece of kit or X piece of kit. So I wouldn't consider them tied or any more or less appropriate for any specific chapter. I guess you could say they're less appropriate for the likes of Black Templars and Space Wolves and similar. But other than that, no real preference, I don't think.
Anyway, right, okay. Hill 42. This is a really interesting question. So, do any of your existing Marines or Chaos Marine armies have enough Heresy era stuff to use them without having to buy new ones? A new army?
My Loyalist Marines, no, because most of them have Mark 6 armor. Very few have got Heresy era armor, so I really couldn't use any of those. My Chaos armies, my Iron Warriors might be close, but the tanks are newer patterns. They're not Heresy era Predators or Heresy era Vindicators. But because the Iron Warriors tend to assume mutation and chaos markings, they are probably the closest. Although the Terminator armor is obviously a mutation of a more modern pattern rather than it being based off heresy patterns, just because of how the aesthetic has grown up and the way the lore has changed. From the original Terminator armor, just going to here is Chaos Terminator armor with spikes and tusks. Yeah. So no, unfortunately not.
We are going to do all the rest of the questions, I guess, next week. But I just wanted we'll do as many as we can tonight. But Big Bad Peter, who's my new friend. Okay. So because he asked me a question, he's my new friend. So what advice would you give to someone going to their first Warhammer event or tournament? Now, I only ask this because this will be me, won't it? I would imagine at some point, just watching, by the way. What advice would you give to someone going there for the first time? I'm presuming he's playing in it.
Well, I haven't been to an organised event for a very long time. I also have never been to a tournament. They are very different.
And it says event or tournament. Yeah.
I mean, there are a few pieces of information I can impart. Take super glue, because the something breaking on the day, very inconvenient. Take super glue. At the start of the game, discuss with your opponent the table. I know scenery is more codified these days, but not every set of scenery is going to exactly match the GW thing. Say, discuss this as this type of terrain, we counted that as this type of terrain. All the sort of questions that are better sorted out when the game doesn't hang on it. The majority of people you end up playing against will be really cool. You may end up paired against that guy who is obnoxious in one way or another. I don't know how common they are at tournaments. They are. I've encountered a couple over my years of going to narrative events, and for whatever reason, they aren't fun to play against because they're either just out to win at all costs, or they're not an engaging opponent. There can be all sorts of different reasons. If you find yourself in one of those games, try not to get frustrated. Just take it in your stride. I always follow the path of least resistance, and then just try and forget about it afterwards and move on to the next game, which should be fun because most of the people are.
I think that is really true, and I think my first game on Sunday, and I know I've joked about and said, that obviously, Joe were great, but it was so nice and so lovely about it, and was having so much fun that you couldn't help but have fun as well. So even when, I guess the words are, even when you're being beat and you know that the end is nigh, we just laughed about it, and he was so lovely that actually it was fun to lose as well as fun. It would have been fun to win because we just had a good laugh, didn't we? So I would say, don't take it too seriously.
It's a good one.
I would just don't just have a good time, and don't be frightened to ask as well. If there's something you don't understand and you don't get, I always say I don't get that, which I don't get a lot of it, but I do my best. But yeah, I would say that. Just have fun. Everybody I've met so far is really lovely. Are you ready for one more?
One more, last one of the night.
One more. 40k Space Marine chapter sizes. Should GW, as part of their new model rollout law changes, review the increase chapter size by ×10? And that's from Solar Star.
Yes.
Solar Star.
Yes, absolutely. I would entirely do that. I would get them to roll a lot of the chapters back up to Legion strength. There are lots of narrative reasons for doing that. They can introduce other things to the lore. It gives them to keep control of them. It just doesn't make. I mean, there's especially when a Primarch comes back. Well, I mean, you could argue either way. That was the reason they were broken into chapters in the first place. But they can get around that narratively. There's a display at Warhammer, it's been there a very long time now. It's glorious, although very, very dusty. It's glorious, and it's a big Chaos versus Ultramarine battle. And I believe I am right in saying that there are more Ultramarines on that table than there are actually in the chapter. And there's just not, with the way all the stories work, and every book you read and it goes down, they lost 300 Marines or whatever it was, and the rate of attrition in almost every narrative story does not match the size of the chapters. So yeah, absolutely, I would roll them back up, I think, just for narrative reasons. Also, it makes it easier for them to sell models. They can say that a company's 1,000 men or whatever. There's lots of range there for them, but they don't seem to be that bothered about how the narrative structure of the armies. They don't seem to feature in these books anymore. You have to really hunt for the snippets of information, or take them out of novels, or find it yourself. Back in the day, how an army should operate was a big part of the of a codex, and you didn't have to follow it. Everyone was free to play in their way, but it was in there. And how much? It's not because proud. It's a big consideration for us. It probably isn't even on a list somewhere on a GW ideas board. It's probably not even there. I wouldn't have thought.
If he went to a casino with his dice rolls, he'd be a very rich man. That would be a different story.
So what's the crack?
I've still got some more. I can carry on. Oh, because we've got quite a lot of thank yous and shout outs.
Okay,
as well. So I am happy to do whatever you want to do.
There's quite a few we haven't done, isn't there? There's plenty.
We've got to the 30th, just about. So,
right, okay.
And I've sent everyone a thumbs up that we've asked. So hopefully I've done that right. That's why I've been a little bit quieter as usual. Or I've been a little bit quieter than usual. I'm a bit this and a bit of that.
Okay. Well, we're coming up to an hour and a half. I think that's a good amount of time to do. It also leaves a few more for next time that people can top up.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So thank you then. First, thank you as always is to Crimson for greasing the wheels and keeping the show rolling. And
I've greased nothing.
And doing an all-round excellent job.
I have greased nothing today. Okay. I go because my laptop has just decided that it's switching off. Okay. So big thank yous for super chats to Mick the Machine, as always. Adrian Smart sent us a super chat, and Big Bad Peter Gaming gifted us a Say Hi Paul membership that Josh picked up, which was great. So thank you for that. And it must have picked it up just before he went to sleep. So, because he did have to disappear off to go to sleep. So, we asked no questions about that. We just let him disappear off. Big Bad Peter also gave us a super chat as well. And there was a super chat from Moog. Yestin, again, 5 memberships. What a man. What a man. So they were, I hope I'm saying this right, Isham 01, Ryan Norton, Riverside Miniatures, Southern Wolf, and Terry Greenwell all picked up the super chats from Yestin. So thank you.
The gifted memberships.
The gifted memberships, sorry, from Yestin. And Yestin's been with us for 5 months and used his 5-month membership as well. So that was really nice. And obviously a big, massive happy birthday to Adrian from Canada. 34 today. And he used his 21-month super chat as well. So he's been with us for 21 months from Canada. And we haven't even been there yet on holiday. I'm glad you had a lovely night, Softwool. Sending loads of love. Thank you. And thanks to everybody else who's put that on. It was a pleasure as always. Thank you. Just before we go, we've got a little bit of a very early announcement in its making, haven't we?
We have.
We're very excited.
I'm gonna let you.
Well,
drop the camera.
No, I don't want the camera. Thank you. I'm not dressed. Don't do that. I mean, I am dressed, obviously, but no makeup on. Look terrible at this time without my lip. But we are doing, and don't quote us on this because it's in its very early stages, but we've decided, or say Paul's decided because
we have decided because
we've decided to do a Crimson Ribbon 2. Whether we're going to call it Crimson Ribbon 2 is a different matter, but we are going to do something along the lines of
the Crimson Ribbon.
The Crimson Ribbon that we did last year.
It's not really a sequel to Crimson Ribbon though, because it's
it's along the lines of
a similar event.
Yeah, a similar event. But we've thought about it, and yes,
we are going to do.
We're going to give it a whirl.
But the big difference with this event is this is going to be an AOS event.
It's an AOS event. Yes, it is. It's not 40k, and the reason it's not 40k, there's no sort of cloak and dagger, but there are going to be new rules coming out very soon. It's just we don't know when.
It's hard to plan
so
for an event with 10th coming out.
We spoke about it, didn't we? So it's hard to plan it with that coming out. So we decided that, or you decided that it would probably be a good idea to just steer away from that for this time.
And we said,
but and look at that next time, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Moog. Thanks, Mick. I hope you two both are. I'm gonna need a lot of help.
And they're because we did 40k last time. We thought we'll do AOS this time, and if we end up doing more of them, we might alternate. We'll see. We'll work it out as we go.
So we are doing it. We're doing it a little bit differently to last time, in that we are going to try and get some. We're going to try and get some freebies from different places as well. So I've got my sort of eye on that as well. See if we can get any freebies from anywhere. But I don't know whether there's going to be curry. If you want curry, you're might have to make it yourself. But again, it's over 2 days. But we'll let you know as
That's the plan. I mean, we haven't got a venue or anything yet.
We're in negotiations with different places, but yeah, we are. So we just thought we'd mention it.
Yeah.
So if there are any dates that anybody can absolutely not do, we roughly thought in about 6 months' time, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean,
So if
it's pretty difficult to organise it around other people's dates.
It's difficult to manage it around other people's, but if say for instance, if somebody's going out of the country for 3 months, then let us know. Because obviously
no guarantees we can do anything with that information. Yeah.
We send you a video. But yeah, so we are doing it, and it's gonna be great.
And on that bombshell, as it were. Anything else you want to mention?
No. Only Adrian's birthday.
Okay.
34 today from Canada.
Happy birthday again, Adrian. All right, folks. And on that note, thank you again to Crimson, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
And we will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Say bye, Crimson.
Bye, Crimson.
Bye. Bye.